Mark, I guess the best thing for Sean Rowan this week is the fact that he's got himself an international call-up and he's been able to put last week behind him.
Yeah, and he deserves it. I think he's had an outstanding year. We all make mistakes such as life. As I said, he can do it on purpose, so it'd be unfair to talk about that as a defining season, and so I'm really pleased with him, fully deserved.
Although you will be missing him unless the game gets called off, I guess that's the negative side, isn't it, of having success for your players, that these things can happen.
Yes, I'm probably a bit unique in this, that as much as I'll miss him, I'm glad he's got his call up, and it'll be the same for our other players if they do get called up and we miss them. I'd be disappointed that Lincoln are going to lose a couple of really good players, but I'm actually more pleased because it's their careers, it's their time, and it's a reflection of their performances that says to you that they've been excellent this year. So I think with every cloud and all that jazz.
Adam Jackson come through okay last week?
Yeah, good, fine. Trained well this week.
Dylan Duffy, I know he's starting to get a bit more involved within the squad. Is there a chance we'll see him before the end of the season, or is it just about integrating him into the full-time environment?
No, I hope so. I fully expect him to be involved. The small negative is we've not had a chance to get him in a game. So he's unfortunately had an injury when he signed, which we were aware of. So we had a couple of games penciled in. Unfortunately, they get cancelled through nobody's fault. So we really needed to see him in games. He's just been back so long. We can't wait for a game. So he travelled with us to Exeter. He was involved with the squad. He was unlucky not to be on the bench. So my plan is absolutely to get him on the pitch sooner rather than later. And
I know you wasn't here last season, but it was similar with Ben House. He got a little bit of game time before the end of the season. Obviously, that led to him, starting this season on the front foot. Is there a similar hope with Dylan there that you can do something like that?
So I haven't discussed Ben's previous plan or what it was. I wasn't here. I haven't discussed that, but ultimately we want to get him on the pitch. We need to see him on the pitch. He's trained very well. He trains with a really good group every day, and he regularly does things which catches your eye. So he's undoubtedly a good player. What you don't know is when you've got 10,000 people at home and you put him on a pitch, people react in different ways. But he's if you've met Dylan, he's a bubbly character. He's not short of confidence, which I like. So I don't see any problems there. But to answer your question, we want to get him on the pitch, get him ready for next year.
Speaking of 10,000 people, big crowd expected at the weekend. Is there a real feeling of wanting to put what the wrongs were in the other game right?
Do you mean Exeter?
Against Peterborough.
Apologies. Bloopers. Yeah, it wasn't a good day. I've kind of referenced it a lot this year, because especially when we've talked about fans, because it was a phenomenal day from the connection between the fans and the sport we got. It's like really stood out to me in the 30 years I've been in football, and I've said that quite a few times. So I'd like to think that over the course of the season we've done that many times. So I wouldn't like to turn around and say we owe anybody this, that or the other, but it's certainly something I'm aware of, the performance on the day, and I have to take responsibility for the things I should have done better and could have done better. So that's a good learning curve for me. But look, it's a sellout. It's two teams that not far from each other. It's a big game. They'll have a huge support. They're coming off the back of a great win the other night. So Saturdays have been special for us all this year. So hopefully we'll have another one.
Yeah, they've been a little bit inconsistent. The last two results in particular have probably shocked people at both score lines. What are you expecting from them? Are they the kind of side that are a little bit unpredictable in what they offer?
Well, look, I think they've won 18, drawn 3, lost 15. So they're predominantly speaking, statistically speaking, they win or lose. And now they're involved in a lot of high-scoring games. And again, when they played us, they put 4 past us. They've got huge talent. In terms of very attacking, a very aggressive side in that regard. Really, I mean, on the day when they beat us previously, obviously Darren wasn't there, Grant was in charge. I didn't think they dominated the game as a team, but I thought individually they caused us real big problems. Ward, Jack Murray, Clark Harris. Certain individuals for us had a tough day because they're good players. But they are a very, very good side, and they're a top 10 team. Obviously Darren's taken over at a period where it was potentially going to be difficult to get in the playoffs, but he's won plenty of games since he's been in, and lots of goals. And in fairness, if you look at the Cheltenham game a couple of weeks ago, brilliant result for Wade and Cheltenham, but they've conceded a set piece and arguably 2 of the goals of the season, so sometimes that can happen.
The front three for yourself in particular, Ben House has been the mainstay, but the two wide players in recent weeks have not remained the same. Is the message to those players, prove you should keep that shirt like Ben has or like the back five have?
It's I have to be honest, it's a message to everybody. To be fair to Danny Mandrew, against Cheltenham, it was more of a sports science decision more than anything, which we have to be respectful of. But I continually say that to the lads. That's a constant. Actually, we trained today. I finished my training session by talking around that. Examples being players potentially going away in international duty, giving other people a chance. It means with Sean being away next week, it's an opportunity to bring in one of our loans who's missed out. So it's ever evolving. The one thing the lads do know, if you're not at it, you don't play. And but they're just how they train every day. They turn up every day. So good problem to have. Definitely something we've had in recent weeks.
And with those wide players, is there almost an expectation because of the position they play and the fact that there will be inconsistencies in their game?
I think that's the league. I think we're all here for a reason. I'm a League One manager for reasons. I don't think I'm all of a sudden I'm better than what the players represent or reflect. We're all here for a reason, and all here for different reasons. So the one thing I have figured out pretty quickly is when you look through the football pyramid, they're a lot more consistent the higher you go up. Our lads have all got good ability, but we have been inconsistent in certain situations. My job as a head coach to try and improve that and then improve those qualities that they have. But I think over the course of the season, they've all brought something to the party. Their numbers are pretty good. I think whichever one of our lads start in the front end of the pitch, whether it's a Charles, a Mide or Danny or Teddy's played really, really well there when he's been there. I think whoever we put up there can cause teams problems for sure.
And how do you go about as a head coach making those players more consistent? Because you see you can improve them tactically, you can improve them technically, but how do you get consistency into their game as a head coach?
Just in constant work on the hours and hours and hours on the training ground. The bottom line is if you don't practice, you're not going to get better. Do you like golf, Rob?
I don't play, but I like watching.
Right, I like golf, and I work bloody hard at it to try and get my handicap down. And it doesn't come down just by rocking up once every 3 weeks and hitting a golf ball. So it's just constant practice, and there's a real buy-in for the players to do that. And every player will find their ceiling at some point. And that's the bottom line. What I'm quite happy about with our group is I don't know where the ceiling is, where sometimes you get a player and you go, that's his level, or it's not this level, or it's below, or it may be potentially up. And I think our group in the forward line have got the potential to really kick on and further their careers. I don't think League One's their ceiling.